My educational giant is Thomas Hopkins Gallaudet. He was born on December 10th of 1787 in Philadelphia. When he was a young boy, him and his family moved to Hartford, Connecticut. Thomas Hopkins was a very well-educated American. By the time he was 15, started going to Yale, and by the time he was 2 months away from his 18th birthday, he had already graduated. He had two jobs right outside of college, and it was a law assistant and a tutor. He had to quit both of those jobs because of a lung disease that he had that would continue on with him his entire life. In September of 1851, Thomas died due to those complications, and yeah. But his entire life's work, I think, is amazing and incredible. I took sign language in high school, and we had to learn a little bit about Thomas Gallaudet because he created the first school for deaf and dumb, or inability to speak. That's what that meant at the time. Deaf and dumb persons. It's the first school in the US that ever offered education to these people, and I think that's amazing. But before the school opened, there were a couple of things that Thomas did before. So he was a door-to-door salesman in Ohio and Kentucky, and this is where Thomas noticed that some kids weren't in school, and so he asked why they weren't in school. Like, these kids are supposed to be in school, they're kind of young. And he actually found out that teachers that came from the big city would come down to the country where they thought it'd be a great opportunity to teach, and then they would leave a month later not liking it, just saying, oh, I don't want to live in the country. One of the kids he met while he was doing door-to-door sales was Alice Cogswell, and she was a deaf and mute girl. She didn't have as many opportunities as the other kids, even though that they barely had the same opportunities for themselves. She had even less than that. So upon the request of her father to Thomas went to Europe to learn how to teach her, and not only her, but lots of other kids as well. When he was in Europe, he met Abby Sicard, who was an author of many resources that he used while he was teaching, one of which helped him form a language to teach these kids with, which we all know now as ASL, or American Sign Language. While he was also in France, he met Laurent Clerc, a European teacher that he decided to recruit to the US so that he could help teach. While Thomas was teaching this school, he continued to develop ASL and continued to make the language grow, and it's one of the most used languages for deaf people in the United States, obviously. There are other ones, but that's the main one that they use. The school started to gain attention. Once it gained attention, President Monroe found out about it, and this attention helped them get money and land from the government so that this school could become something so much more. When Thomas died after his death, he had a son, Edward, who he didn't open, but he was the first president of the first deaf college in the United States, and it's named Gallaudet University. Thomas had such an amazing life and such great accomplishments, and he started a revolution basically for these people who didn't have opportunities before, because they're just like us. They have the same abilities that we have, except for the fact that they can't hear and they weren't able to speak because no one knew how to help them. He helped bring these kids who had nothing to being able to go to college, and I think that's absolutely amazing.